Diluting paint, what an absolutely riveting topic. So I will talk you through the basics. It's not exactly rocket science, but I can give you a few tips. Now, most trade products like this come condensed so that you can dilute them as much as you need to for the job in hand. So if you are going for a big, massive colour change, or you are using a difficult colour like a deep red or a deep blue or whatever, you can put it on neat. However, usually what you do is dilute it slightly just to loosen it up, and that way you'll get better flow and a nicer finish. You won't get a sort of a pitted finish from your roller or anything like that. Different trade products need diluting slightly different amounts. I'm using Dulute's trade vinyl mat today. I tend to dilute it by about 5% before I use it. If you're using a product that you're not used to, you might not know how much to dilute the paint by. You can look at the technical data sheet. Sometimes it tells you on that. Or the other thing you could do is sort of open it and just look at the consistency. You can see there that that's quite thick. That would be quite difficult to apply unless you dilute it. The other thing to note is if you have more than one tin of paint, then the best thing to do is mix them all together, simply because what ends up happening is you might dilute one tin, use it for your cutting and rolling, and then pour the other tin into your sort of rolling scuttle or something like that. They might be very, very slightly different colours, but once they're on the wall, if you're cutting in as a slightly different colour to your rolling, you will notice it. So box them all together. Right, I've got about 750 millilitres of water here, so 3/4 of a litre, something like that. Again, I already know how much water to add because I'm familiar with this product, but if you weren't familiar, what you could do is add a little less, give it a mix, check the consistency, and then if you need to add more, add more. Show you another little trick too. So obviously I've got the water here. Instead of tipping that directly into the bucket, what we're going to do is try and get every last little drop of paint out of that tin as we can. So instead of going into the bucket, try going in the paint first. Put the lid on and give that a shake. And then tip that in there, and it will take any last little bit of paint that was in that tin. Then it's just a case of giving them a mix up. I've got a mechanical whisk here, however, you could just use a stick, no problem whatsoever, it'll just take you a little bit longer. Couple of other quick tips to tell you. Obviously, if you're a decorator, you'll already know all this, so please just ignore the video. Don't come on and start calling me a tosher or whatever. But if the tins have been sat for a while, or like me, you've used a part tin that's been in stores for a little bit, what you may need to do is just sieve it. So I think that's a sieve or a colander or whatever. I don't know, but either way, my girlfriend's gonna absolutely kill me. And stick it on top of the kettle and then pour it in. And that's basically it. That is how you dilute and prepare paint ready for use. Now, obviously this is your scuttle, so you'd use this to obviously roll from. You might want to put a little bit of paint into a kettle as well, so that's the one you'd brush out of for your cutting in. Make sure it's out of the same lot. Don't mix anything separately for your cutting in. You want to be using the same paint out of the same mix, otherwise you might have that disparity in colour again. And make sure you follow me for more decorating related tips.